Okay, so lesson number 1 is opening the case and getting our reed on our mouthpiece. So you have your clarinet case, okay, and on your clarinet case you're going to have some sort of a label. So mine says Yamaha, yours will say Yamaha or something similar. Okay, so when you open your case, you're going to put the latches and the handle towards you, and you're going to put the label facing up. That way, when you open your case, you won't dump the instrument on the floor. And then you're going to pull these tabs up, and this will slide off. Same thing with this side, okay? And we always open our case on a flat surface so that it will not tip out onto the floor and it's nice and straight. So we're going to open that case up. Okay, and in it you have all of your parts. So right now, we're going to take out your mouthpiece, and you're going to have your ligature on it, which is this piece right here. And then you're also going to take out the barrel, and then you should have a reed guard, and you should also have a reed. So let's start there. Okay, now we're going to take our reed out of our wrapper here. Okay, I've already actually opened mine, so take that out. It's just like a piece of candy. It kind of keeps the bamboo being exactly how it should be, moisture-wise and stuff like that, until you're ready to use it. Okay, this is your reed, and you notice that it's a little bit lighter up here, and the reason that it's lighter at the top is because it's very thin. Okay, so we're going to do our very best to be careful of the tip of the reed, but we're going to slide this reed out of the reed case, and there's a little indentation here. So I'm going to put my fingers on either side, and I'm going to pinch it, and then I'm going to pull the top part of the reed out first, and then I'm going to slide the butt of the reed out. Okay, now the butt of the reed is the part at the bottom, and it's nice and thick, so you have this bark part of it on this side, and then on the other side you have the brand. Okay, yours probably says 3 down here also. Sometimes it'll say a 2.5. That's the strength of the reed and how thick it is. So for today, I want you to put this side down, and you're going to put this into your mouth on your tongue, but you don't want it to hit your teeth. So I'm just going to rest the tip, the fragile part, on my tongue like this. And I would suck on that reed the entire time that I'm getting my mouthpiece ready. Now, I'm not going to do that today, so you can understand what I'm saying. Okay, now you're going to take your mouthpiece. And the mouthpiece most likely has the ligature already on it. It looks like this, okay? And it's metal. And these are kind of important to keep very carefully, because if you smush this, you have to pay for it again, and it's a little more expensive than you would expect. So we're going to take that mouthpiece off, and we're actually going to hold our mouthpiece in our left hand, and then I'm going to take my pinky, and I'm going to put this on my pinky and hold it there. Now remember, all this time I would be having my reed in my mouth, okay? But right now I don't, so I can talk to you. Okay, next step. Now, this is called the cork, okay? If I were to put my barrel on this right now, most likely it might tear up this cork because it looks pretty new on this mouthpiece. So there's something in your case called cork grease, and or it might look like this, and it might look like chapstick. It's not chapstick, don't put it on. So I'm going to take some of this cork grease, and I'm just going to rub a little of that on my finger, and then I'm going to rub it on this cork, okay? I probably need a little bit more than that because this is a fairly new cork. Okay, cork grease is something that you put on sparingly. You don't have to put a whole lot of it on. You also don't need to put it on every day. I would just kind of check it, and if it feels a little bit rough going on, then go ahead and put more cork grease on it. But you shouldn't need it day to day. Okay, now your barrel is thinner at the top than it is the bottom. See how it bubbles out a little bit at the bottom? So I'm going to take this mouthpiece in my left hand, okay, and I'm going to get a decent grip on it, okay, and then I'm going to take this barrel with the small side up, and the small side is what goes up to the top. So if you notice, it clarinet gets thinner as it goes up. So you're going to take this and hold it decently, and then you're going to take your mouthpiece and you're going to put it on with a twisting motion as you push, okay? So I'm going to twist, 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 okay? And it's all together like this, okay? Now, I'm going to take my ligature off my pinky and I'm going to put this back on my mouthpiece. Now, there are a couple different kinds of ligatures, but what you will know is that these screws always go towards your right. So if I was looking at it like this and I was putting it on, then these screws would go towards my right, okay? Now, in some ligatures, the screws are on the bottom, okay, down here, and then on some, they're on the top. Most likely yours are on the top. So yours would be going up like this, okay? And then this part would be on the where the hole is right here, okay? There you go, okay? So I'm going to put those screws on and they're going to face to my right. Okay, the next step is putting on our reed, and this is where we need to be really careful that we're putting it on the right way. So I have been soaking this reed in my mouth with the bark side up the entire time that I'm putting this together. So I'll take it out of my mouth, and I'm going to hold my mouthpiece so that the hole is towards my face, okay? And then my ligature screws are towards the right, okay? Then I'm going to take this reed and I'm going to slide this ligature up just a little bit, and I'm going to stick the reed in between the ligature and the mouthpiece. And if you'll notice, the bark side is going to be towards me, and then this part is going to be towards the mouthpiece, okay? So I slid it up, and I slid the bark down in there just a little bit, okay? And I'm being very careful of the tip up here, okay? So I'm going to slide the reed down enough so that there's just a little sliver of black on the top of the mouthpiece, okay? And then I'm going to slide this ligature down. Your mouthpiece should have a little bit of a line right here, and I'm going to line this ligature up. See that line right there? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and slide this ligature up towards that line, just below it. Now, if I want, if it's not going down or up, I can loosen these screws, not all the way, but just a little bit. I can loosen them and put them up or down, okay? Now, I don't want my ligature way, way down here, okay? I don't need it way down here. I'm going to put it up towards that top line right up here. And then once I get it in place, I put my finger right here in between the screws on the back, and then I start to tighten it so that the reed is tight enough, it's finger tight enough on there that's going to hold the reed on, but it's also not so tight that it's going to cut off the reed from vibrating. So if I do that too tight, my reed's not going to be able to vibrate. Okay, so now I've got my reed on there, okay, and I'm going to keep it loose just a little bit so I can make some adjustments to my reed. So if you notice, I have a teeny tiny bit of black right above where the reed is, okay? Now, if for some reason my reed is crooked, okay, see how there you can see the light through this side? It's not sitting on that mouthpiece very good. So I'm going to hold that on there and try to get it as straight as I can on this mouthpiece. And so it's going to be like this. And then if I need to make adjustments, let's say my reed is crooked, okay, like this. If I need to make adjustments, I'm going to loosen the screws, okay, and I can push my reed side to side right here, but I don't want to touch up here on the tip. So I can push it side to side on here, and I can also put my thumb down here and slide it a little bit if I want to also. But I'm doing my very best not to touch up on the tip. So I'm going to put my reed down here. I'm going to slide it, make sure it's in the middle, and then I'm going to tighten these. Okay. Now if you can tell down here, okay, my reed is right in the middle of that little indent down here, okay. My reed is evenly on this side and that side of the metal, and I have my little bit of black showing at the very tip. Okay, so if I look on this side, I shouldn't see a bunch of reeds sticking up past it. Okay, and there you go.